Yeah. Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kids TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and recently I've taken some flack, if you will, because I've had individuals get my statements and my comments that I've posted in regards to P. Diddy misconstrued in a sense. Now, before I get into today's message, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that anytime I bring you a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, as we so often don't. You're on your way home from work, you need to lay down and take a nap. Perhaps you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you view or listen to this video. You need to laugh, you need to cry, or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true. Key word being true, penitentiary / life experience / life story. This is the channel for you. So if you prefer your 8, 10, 12, 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Kids TV, it's 30 minutes or better, baby. Just how we do it. So with all that being said, there is a message. You know, I put something up on my Facebook wall, Facebook page, or what have you. And I was just talking about how everybody seems to rush to judgment in regards to the P. Diddy situation. And not only the P. Diddy situation, just in general. Anytime there's an allegation made against a person, and especially if it hits the media, you're presumed to be guilty before you even had an opportunity to tell your side, to tell your story. I'm going to take you back a few years ago. Back when I was still with my ex, man. We still good friends to this day, man. We're in the house one day. She had a son. Well, she has a son. He was about 19, 20 at the time. He has his child, first child. The child is about 5 months old. It's a little boy, cute little boy. The child comes to the house about 3 times a week. Now, when he comes to the house 3 times a week, he's not allowed to keep the baby overnight for whatever reason. But, you know, he'll stay 6 or 7 hours and then they'll take him home and, you know, it was just a regular routine. Now, initially, when the child was born, he wasn't allowed to come to the house whatsoever. Because the mother, she's like 19. She was like a year younger than him. She had a problem with him. So being that she had a problem with him because their relationship was kind of rocky, you know, they're young people. That's why they say young people, wait until you get married to start having kids and things of that nature. She had a problem with him because she had a very, very aggressive, to say the least, attitude. She aspired to be a rapper. So she had that raw, that grittiness, but it was just an image that she was trying to portray because she is not like that whatsoever, respectfully. And so she fully took advantage of, you know, being the mother, being the primary guardian. He couldn't see the child except for when she wanted him to see the child. When the baby did come over, she might agree to allow him to stay all night, but then she'll call and be like, I'm coming to get my baby, I miss him. You know, things of that nature. He asked for a blood test. Because he's going through the process of, it's not as though he was trying to get out of being the father. No, they love that child. He asked for a blood test. He's going through the process of taking himself to court, putting himself on child support because he wants his rights. He wants to be able to see his child, you know, and he doesn't want, it's not fair for her to just be able to call in the middle of the night, I'm coming to get my baby. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I miss my baby, I'm coming to get him. No, that's not fair. You didn't create this child by yourself. So I've given you all kind of a backstory, if you will, as far as where I'm going with this. Because of her negative attitude, she would curse him out all the time. She put hands on him. He didn't want to be with her anymore. Who wants to be in an abusive relationship, verbally and physically? He had enough. He wasn't trying to be in it anymore. So we fully left her alone. Obviously, she didn't like that. She comes to the house one day. She's heated. She's absolutely livid. I believe she had found out that he had been talking to another, female or whatnot. But they weren't together at this point. Jealousy, rage. She storms in the house. When she storms in the house, give me my baby. Now, I'm not going to use his real name, so we're just going to call him Sean. We're going to call him Sean, and we're going to call her Kiki. So when she comes into the house, you got myself, you got my ex, you have Sean, which is holding the baby, and my ex's daughter's in the house just as well. She's screaming and yelling at the top of her lungs. When you first enter the door, like when she first walked into the door, she's in the living room area because it was just a screen door. The screen door was open. And they're probably, Sean is about, I want to say, a good 15 feet away. He's at the kind of towards the back of the hallway. She's yelling and cussing him out. And it's like, you're doing all of this. For one thing, you shouldn't be doing this, period, especially when there's a child present. And you act as though you don't see his mother standing right there. Excuse me, but I'm going to kill your son. Your son's going to die. You were saying this to a mother about her child. So my ex, she's trying to calm the situation down. She's trying to calm Kiki down. Kiki, you need to calm down. No, I'm not calming down. She runs to the kitchen, in which is presumed she's trying to go get a knife, something sharp. As she's running to the kitchen, my ex kind of cuts her off like, no, we're not doing this. We are not doing this. You're not going to disrespect my house like this. So she's walking towards Sean. Give me my baby. It's not as though Sean wasn't trying to give her the child. You need to calm down, man. You need to calm down. She starts swinging on him. Just start welling on him. Swinging, just punching him. He's trying to shield her off like, go on, stop. So I'm there. Like I said, my ex is there. They're trying to pull her away to get her away from Sean. She's cussing, get off of me. She's cussing, going crazy. Now, in the meanwhile, her mother is outside in the car waiting on her. I'm trying to calm the situation down, but I see that this girl is a sandwich or two short of a picnic. So I don't want to intervene too much and get myself involved because I've been in a situation like this. I know where it goes, and it's never good, particularly for the dude. She's swinging. So my ex, she grabs the baby, takes him out to the car. Their main concern was to keep him out of harm's way. Takes him to the car, puts him in the car seat. She's talking to the mother. You need to come and get your daughter. I can't get out of my house, and she's in there going crazy. So at this particular time, once they get the baby, strapped in, make sure that he's safe or what have you, it takes a little second. They get him in the car. Sean is coming outside. She's steadily hitting him. Kiki's steadily hitting him, punching him all in the back of the head. He's just, go on, stop. Leave me alone, stop. Never once did he hit her. Never once did he do anything physically, nothing to her. With the exception of trying to protect himself. Now, she's short. She's probably about 5'1", 5'2". Here it is. Sean is about 5'11". So, no, I'm just joking. Sean's about 6 foot, 6'1". And so she's swinging up at him. She really can't hurt him. But at the same time, who wants to be, punched in the face? He's telling her, leave, go on. The mother's not really trying to stop anything. The mother is just like her, or she's just like the mother, vice versa. You put your hands on my daughter, we gonna get you. We going to the police. So my ex is like, nobody put their hands on your daughter. So they going back and forth. Next thing you know, they're arguing. Look like they getting ready to, square up. Square up! Square up merchandise coming real soon. And so they're going through it. I'm outside. I'm just trying to look, man. Y'all need to just leave, man. The baby's in the car. Leave, man. They going back and forth. They're arguing or what have you. The little girl, she won't calm down for anything. They finally jump in the car. Now, as they jump in the car, Sean, they took a walk. His mother told him, just go cool off because he's upset. He's you know, kind of crying or whatever. Just go take a walk, chill out, cool off. The mother jumps in the car and acts as though she's going to try to run him over with the car. As he's walking down the sidewalk, not bothering anybody. He wasn't bothering anybody in the first place. We gonna kill you. The little girl, Kiki, she's, you know, hanging out the window. We gonna kill you. I got somebody, I'm gonna call my people. We gonna kill you, unalive you. They leave. Sean comes back to the house probably, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes later. I'm telling them, I say, listen, man, I've been in this same situation before. You all need to immediately go downtown, file a report, and get an EPO out on her. Emergency Protective Order. That's what they call it in Kentucky. An EPO. Sometimes a DVO, which is Domestic Violence Order, but a lot of times it's called an EPO. You all need to go get an EPO out on her ASAP. You heard what they said. They're going to call the police. They're going to try to say that you did this and you did that. So they go downtown, file the report. Once they filed the report, the EPO was denied. Why was it denied? Because they didn't believe him. They didn't believe him, for one. And for two, she had beat him down there and she had already filed an EPO on him. Remember, EPO, Emergency Protective Order. No contact whatsoever. Can't contact her. Can't be around the child. Can't see the child. Remember, the child is only 5 months. 2 weeks before he goes to court. I was actually surprised that by her filing this EPO that she didn't file a domestic violence charge against him. And I wasn't so sure that she didn't. The sheriff came. He served him with the EPO, you know, the paperwork, be in court in 2 weeks. We thinking that it's just going to be a situation. You go to court. Well, guess what? When you go to court, you have to have an attorney. Attorneys don't work for free, and they don't work for cheap. So now we have to come up, you know, get the money together, what have you, to get this lawyer. Goes to court. First court date. They go through the proceedings as far as what happened and things of that nature. Trying to, you know, we hoping that, okay, this thing there can be some sort of mediation to it and you know, it's resolved. No. Judge talked to Sean like he had a tail between his legs. Not only did he talk to him like he had a tail between his legs, he was arrested right there on the spot. 4th degree assault, which is a misdemeanor, but it carries up to 12 months in the county jail. Terroristic threatening, which was a misdemeanor, which I don't know where that came from. And they hit him with criminal mischief. Criminal mischief because her phone was broke. She had an iPhone, and she told the courts, or she put in the report, that he broke the phone. Y'all rock with me, man. Let me know where you're chiming in from, man. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me know what city you chiming in from, and let me know if you rocking with real kids. So they take him into custody. He's charged with these 3 charges. Now, what's so crazy, the criminal mischief charge, because the phone was over $500, it was an iPhone, as I previously mentioned, it was a felony. It's considered a felony. Here it is, you have a kid. Even though he's 19, 20, he's still a kid. Young man. Never been arrested before. Never been in an ounce of trouble in his life. He grew up playing sports, football, basketball, baseball. Had scholarship offers on the table for baseball. Would have had scholarship offers on the table for football had he, because the school that he went to was like the #1 school in the state as far as football. And a lot of their players typically go to Division I colleges. He ended up throwing his arm out, pitching in a baseball game. And by the time he had the surgery and got back, he just didn't want to play anymore. But still, with that being said, never been in a day of trouble. An ounce of trouble a day in his life, rather. They're treating him like a hardened criminal. They lock him up. His bond is $5,000 right off top. He sees pretrial. A few hours later, after being locked up, you see pretrial. Basically, they verify, your criminal history, where you live at, where you work at, and you get points. And the higher points that you accumulate, the better chance that you have of getting out. They don't let him out. Or they don't reduce his bond. So his bond is still $5,000. My ex, she's all upset. Everybody's upset. He goes to court the following day for arraignment. Have the attorney that's there. He's present. Still don't let him out. Won't reduce his bond. In Kentucky, your bond is what your bond is. There's no bail bondsman. So if your bond is $5,000, guess what? There's no 10%. There's no, your bond is $5,000. If it's $10,000, it's $10,000. Now the judge can give you 10%, or he can release you on your own recognizance. But until he or she does that, meaning the judge, your bond will remain what it is. So now he's sitting in the county jail. His next court date is like 2 weeks later. He's sitting in the county jail, again, has never been locked up a day in his life. Trying to get the money to get him out. They throw an additional charge on him, so now his bond goes up to $10,000. Because we're about to go get him. So he ends up sitting in there maybe close to the 2 weeks. Maybe 12 days, 11, 12 days. Sitting in the county jail for absolutely nothing. Based upon what she said. He goes to court. When he goes to court, they put the court date off because they want to file additional charges against him. Actually, they filed one additional charge against him for assault on the baby. She said that he hit the baby, a 5-month-old child. She said in her report that he hit the child. The lawyer finds that very, very interesting. There's no medical records. You have pictures, but you took pictures of him, but there's no visible injuries. And on top of all of that, he never did anything to the child. Nothing. He's shielding the child, trying to hold her crazy self back from potentially hitting the child. They believe every word that she says. So as I mentioned, he comes back to court a couple weeks later. Just one additional charge on him at that point, along with the 3 other charges. One of them is a felony charge. They don't offer him any sort of plea deal or anything of that nature, because a lot of times what happens when you're in district court, which is the first court that you'll go to, it's like the beginning stages of any trial or any charge. You're always going to start in district court, unless you have what's called a superseding indictment. What they're going to do to P. Diddy, which is going to be additional charges. You bypass district court and go straight to circuit court, which is felony court. Sometimes they'll offer you a plea deal if you never had a record before, the charge is not really that serious or whatnot. They'll offer you a plea deal and say, okay, we're not going to waive this up to the grand jury and send it to felony court. We'll just keep it in misdemeanor court, and, we'll offer you 90 days to serve. We'll probate that if you mess up. Within 2 years, you have to come back and serve 90 days or 60 days or 120 days. It depends on whatever they want to offer you. Now, in this case, it was recommended you don't take anything. You didn't do anything. So why would you take anything? But they never even made him an offer. They sent his case up to the grand jury. A few months later, he ends up getting indicted. Once he got indicted, that just means that once the case is presented in front of the grand jury, they believe that a crime potentially took place. If they believe that a crime potentially took place, the case will continue. It's just in felony court now, which is called circuit court, opposed to being in district court, which is misdemeanor court. Y'all rock with me. Hopefully you all, fully follow me. I'm trying to paint a picture for you. In addition, he's out on bond. Has to wear an ankle monitor. Can't leave the house. Only thing he can do is go to work. Pretty much go to work and come home. $8 a day. That's $56 a week. So he's having to pay this $56 a week. He's getting drug tested, 1 or 2 times a week. Just randomly tested. Has all of these stipulations on him. But the thing that hurt the most, he couldn't see his son. My ex, she's not, she's having moments in which, and she was strong, man. She's holding up fairly well. But she had her moments to where she broke down. She doesn't get to see her grandson. Just imagine that. We all, if your child or your grandchild and you're used to seeing that person, that little one, that little person. And all of a sudden, it's taken away from you. You don't know how he's doing. You don't know anything because you can't contact the mother. You have all these crazy allegations going about on social media. You put pictures of the child and act as though that Sean did something to the child. You're telling people you're trying to hire a hitman to have him knocked off the face of the earth because you think you're a rapper. You think you're tough because you rap a little bit. And it's just all these crazy rumors. And you're just sitting there and you can't defend yourself in any capacity. Cases going back and forth to court. And it's getting closer and closer to going to trial. At this point, he has been home, or he's been out on bond for about a year, a little bit over a year. Judge wants to know what y'all gonna do. You gonna come up with a plea deal? We're gonna work something out, or you going to trial? They're offering Sean a plea deal of 2 years, in which he would plead guilty. He would get 2 years. Now he'll be a convicted felon. And what makes it so bad in Kentucky, especially in Lexington, when you plead guilty to a charge, you don't even know if it's going to be probated or not until you go back for final sentencing, which is about a month later. There is no pleading guilty to, okay, I'm going to get probation, or no. The prosecution can say, okay, we won't, we'll just stand idle. We won't say anything. We won't suggest it, but at the same time, we won't, oppose it either. That's the best you're going to get. The whole time they're offering him a plea deal, no. I'm advising him. His lawyer's advising him. Everybody's seen what happened. He clearly didn't do anything. When I say nothing, if this is a crime, go on, stop. Stop, Kiki. Go on, stop. And he got the baby in his hand trying to shield the baby. If that's a crime, then give him 100 years. Now I'm being sarcastic, but there was no crime committed whatsoever. Not on his behalf. But at the same time, guess what? Everything seems to be going against him. Not only everything that I mentioned, the public perception and humiliation, and this lawyer's not cheap either. So the lawyer's being paid, like I said. Now it's time to go to trial. The judge tells Sean, I never will forget this. He says, young man, what you do is your own business. But one thing for certain, 2 things for sure. We've given you the Commonwealth has given you a very, very fair plea offer. You're looking at up to 5 years if convicted. And me being the judge, knowing that you got a fair deal, if that jury gives you 5 years, I'm going to make sure that you do every day of that 5 years, young man. Yes, sir, Your Honor, but I'm not guilty. I didn't do anything. The lawyer's telling him don't say anything. He's very respectful to the judge. He's respectful to everybody. So if you didn't do anything, then that's for a jury to decide. They put the trial date off for, another month or so. I'm trying to calm him down, tell him not to really be nervous, but I understand. I've been in those shoes. I've been in this situation. I've been in a situation where I was guilty. Now, I wasn't quite guilty of everything they said I was guilty of. But, man, I'm taking it to the box, man. I'm not taking this plea deal that you offer me just because you're offering it. I may take something, but I'm not taking what you're offering. Time comes, they have what's called a status hearing. I believe the trial was supposed to start like on a Tuesday. They had a status hearing on that Friday. Make sure that everything is going to proceed. Typically, on that last status hearing, they'll offer you one more plea deal. They came back offering him a year. This is the last. Now, last time we said this was the last offer, but this time this is really, really, really the last offer. No, I didn't do anything. We standing firm. We standing firm with him. He didn't do anything. The mother, she's lied on the report. She's saying that he did do something. I'm very confident that if this goes to trial, first of all, I'm very shocked that it's even gotten this far, but they hate to dismiss things here. They can be dead to the wrong. A prosecutor could be dead wrong and still try to get something out of you, some sort of conviction out of you, even if it's a misdemeanor, and they're dead wrong and they know that you didn't do anything. It takes a different breed to be a prosecutor. Yeah, I said what I said, and guess what? I can't take it back. It takes a different breed. You got to be somewhat heartless to be a prosecutor. Got the status hearing. He doesn't take the year. The lawyer and the prosecutor's going back and forth. Next thing you know, they come back. Well, would he take a misdemeanor? Now they're offering a misdemeanor. 6 months to serve if he should mess up. If he gets probated, 6 months to serve. No. I'm not taking nothing. I'm not taking serve 10 days. I done already served 11, 12 days unjustly. You all, if you've never been to jail, and you have to go into that environment, oh my goodness. If you've been to jail, you know, especially in that county jail, it's violent, it's dirty, it's nasty, it's loud, is no. If you didn't do anything, don't take nothing. Nah, we're not taking no misdemeanor. They come back. Would he take time served? No. No means no. Now, when I say they come back, they're going back and forth with the, negotiating. Next thing you know, they come back. We're going to dismiss the charges. It took over a year, 13 months, 14 months, to have these charges dismissed. He never should have been in that situation. He never should have been in that predicament. The prosecution knew that not only was this young lady lying, she had a track record of filing EPOs, and she was only 19. She already had a track record on 2 previous occasions of filing EPOs, emergency protective orders, against ex-boyfriends. Had witnesses. Had people that did sworn affidavits talking about she was trying to have him taken off the face of this earth for $500. But yet the prosecutor, which was a woman, didn't matter. She continued to pursue this felony case against this young man that's never been arrested a day in his life. Fortunately for him, it worked out to where the case got dismissed. But in the meantime, look what he had to endure. Traumatizing 11, 12 days in jail. Now, you can turn a negative situation into a positive, make it a positive. At least he knows how it is in jail, and he knows I don't ever want to go back there. The food is nasty, the water is hard and dirty, and I never want to go back there. So he's had the unfortunate experience, if you will, of seeing the accommodations of the county jail. But what about all the money? The $56 a week? What about the $7,500 that the attorney charged? What about the humiliation? At this particular time, he was trying to better himself, so he was looking into going to the military. They even talked to the recruiter as far as trying to get the courts to work out something to say, okay, if this young man goes to the military, which he already was, you know, the process or what have you, is there any way you all would dismiss the charges in full? No. They was not trying to hear that. Only thing they knew was a young lady came downtown and filed charges and pointed the finger and said that this young man did this to her. That's all they cared about. No proof, no facts, no nothing. The baby was never injured. He never touched that baby. Nobody touched that baby. Again, I'm going to continue to reiterate. Only thing he did was push her off of him like, stop. Kiki, stop. Leave me alone. Go. Get out. Leave. That's all he did. But because her phone got broken in the process, supposedly, probably fell out of her pocket and the screen cracked or something like that, that's a felony. Criminal mischief. I'm telling you all about these Commonwealth states. I told you all about a situation in my last story in which a best friend of mine got caught up with 1.5 ounces of weed. This was years ago. Charged him with trafficking. Ended up getting 3 years, man. No, they can't do that, man. This is a Commonwealth. Get caught up. Don't get caught up anywhere. But if you do, make sure it's not a Commonwealth state. But just don't get caught up, period. You don't have anything to worry about. They make up rules as they go. They make up laws as they go. Judge is going to back what the prosecutors say. Prosecutors going to back what the police say. The detectives say. What the so-called victims say. Who was the real victim in this case? Because it definitely wasn't her. So even after this situation happened, he still has this on his record. See, when you get arrested and you're charged with something, it'll still have those charges on there, but it'll say dismissed. Well, now you got to pay an attorney to get those things expunged. It's not like you just go to court on a Monday and then the next day or the next week it's expunged. It's a process. Oftentimes when they expunge something, they only do 1 or 2 charges at a time. So he had to deal with that. He had to deal with the humiliation, the lies of people saying that he abused his own son. All of these things that he still had to deal with. And with that being said, the EPO is totally separate from the actual charges. So he had to get the EPO dropped to where there's no violent contact. You can have contact, but there's no violent contact. Of course, she made it difficult, even more difficult on him, even after a year, because she never wanted him to be a part of his son's life. All because he asked for a drug test. A blood test. I said a drug test. You wouldn't want to have a drug test on your son. All because he asked for a blood test, and also he didn't want to be with her because she was verbally and physically abusive. That little girl needs some help. Not to mention the lawyer charged him additional money because now you need a lawyer to go to family court with you to get all these things established. The paternity, the visitation setups, all of these things over what? Because you was jealous and didn't want him to be with anybody else. But you're doing crazy stuff like taking an extension cord and wrapping it around his neck when he's not looking and things of that nature. You're not mentioning that to the courts. Where's the man protected at? I don't want to make this a man versus woman thing because it's not. And there's oftentimes women go down there because they have been verbally or physically assaulted. So I want to make that loud and clear. But there are also several times that women know that they can just go downtown and say certain things. Now, obviously, all women don't do these things. But there's a small percentage, there's a small group of women that'll just go downtown and say, you know what, he hit me. He did this, he did that. So it was one of those things to where's the protection at? What happens the next time she gets upset at him? She already knows. See, there's already been it's kind of like, okay, now I know the foundation is laid. The only thing I got to do is go downtown and say he hit me, or he violated the EPO, or the next thing you know, he's back in jail again, man, for absolutely no reason. I'm passionate about this because I've gone through it. I've gone through it twice. It was several years ago. The exact same scenario, not the exact same scenario, but when I say the exact same scenario, meaning example-wise, I was arrested for absolutely nothing based upon what she said. And once she seen, she already knew that she could do that because prior to me, which I didn't know initially, she had already done it to a couple guys. And it's just sad, man. It's sad that a person can say something and they come and arrest you. You got people, man, that happens to. You lose your crib. You lose your car. Because 9 times out of 10, you probably don't have the best of, if you have a car and you're making payments, you probably don't have the best of deals. Buy here, pay here, a lot, or something like that. Or 22, 23% interest rate. So they can't wait for you to miss a payment so they can come and get the car. You lose all of these things based upon what an individual says. Eventually, they established the paternity. The child was his. You know, they were able to work something out through the courts. But even to this day, he's never alone with her, to my knowledge. He's never alone with her. It's always someone from the courts. There's always somebody that's going to be there to make sure that, you know, nothing, not necessarily crazy, but it's for his protection, basically is what I'm saying. Fellas, keep your hands off these women. Don't cuss them out. Don't abuse them in any sort of manner. But on the flip side, if you're dealing with a woman and you see that she's like that, and you know, you laugh it off and you stop, girl, you know, because you feel as though she can't hurt you. Oh, she can hurt you. I've told stories about an individual that, you know, he was sleeping and she grabbed the scissors and planted the scissors right in the side of his neck and unalived him while he was asleep. Now, that was for a situation in which he was cheating, but still, did he deserve that? No, he didn't deserve that. You see that you're dealing with somebody like that, get away. Women, if you're dealing with a guy that can't keep his hands off or he's always threatening you, get away. You get your emergency protective order against him, and you do what you got to do to protect yourself, your child, if you all have kids. Get away, because it's not going to change and it's not going to get any better. Think about if Sean didn't have the family support and wasn't able to get an attorney and he has to deal with the legal aid. A legal aid is not going to come and see you in jail. When they do, it's going to be, you might be in jail for 5 or 6 months and they'll come one time. Stay 10, 15 minutes, talk to you, try to get you to plead guilty. They got too many people on their caseload. Most legal aids are public, a lot of times people call them public pretenders. The actual name is public defenders, but they'll call them public pretenders. Now, you got some, don't get me wrong, no disrespect, because a lot of people, I've seen that, not a lot, but I've seen some of your best attorneys started off as legal aids. They was going to trial. They was beating the prosecution. And they ended up getting their own private firm. A la Marcel Radamel. A la Daniel Whitley. Tough attorneys, man. Don't lose at trial. Started off as public defenders. Stay out of the system. Protect your life. Protect yourself. This was a situation that I don't know if could have necessarily been avoided that day, but all the signs were there. I guess Sean didn't think that it would go that far. As I mentioned, luckily he had the family support. He was able to get out. He was able to... But look how long it took. And look what all he had to endure and what he lost. Based upon the lies told And based upon an overzealous prosecutor, which the majority of them are, that refuse to see the facts, she just wanted another conviction up under her belt. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. I would implore you all to check my channel every day. I'm going to upload every day, maybe at least 6 times a week. Notifications is not going out to people. Numbers have been down lately because people are not aware that I've been dropping these videos. That's why it's very important that you share, that you comment, you subscribe, and because the engagement, the interaction that you have with your audience is the reason that YouTube pushes your videos out more. So for instance, they may put your video in front of 20,000 people initially. Okay, let's see how this does. If it doesn't hit a certain amount of numbers, they stop promoting your video. But if it hits a certain amount of people, all right, now we're going to put it in front of another 20,000. Now we're going to put it in front of 50,000. Now we're going to put it in front of 100,000. That's how you grow your channel and you get to the 100,000 and 200,000 subscriber counts. But I need you all to share my videos for me, especially a message like this. I believe everybody needs to hear a message like this. Share the video. It takes 5 seconds to share it. Hey, y'all check this video out. Real Kens TV, man, he gets deep about domestic violence and because it's real. It's definitely real, man. And it's just so sad that the prosecution cares enough about their career opposed to the truth. So that was the whole basis of me making that post about P. Diddy. I'm not saying free P. Diddy. I'm not saying, but what I am saying is a lot of this is a money grab. Call it what you want to call it. Is some of it definitely true? Yes, absolutely. Does P. Diddy need to go to prison? I believe he does, but I can't judge anybody. But I think that based upon a lot of the things that I know that he's done or that we've been made aware, yes, he does need to go to prison. I was just simply saying the whole sex trafficking and RICO Act and facing a life sentence, that was a little much. That's all that I was saying. Real Kens TV, man.